Oh, excuse me. Hello, welcome back to SCP. We're again creating the architecture for a little game here. Our game is interactive, and basically what we've done so far is we've created a sprite that we can move with our arrow keys. We've created an enemy that constantly tries to get us by following us around the screen. We created a projectile that we can shoot out by pressing the space bar. And finally, we actually created a projectile that the enemy can shoot out. When we broadcast a message, that's the enemy shooting there, to this enemy fireball here. All right, I'm going to hit stop. Now, the problem with this game is we have to get the enemy to be broadcasting this message at intervals, right? We want the enemy to... So if we just place fire in here, and the enemy is forever broadcasting fire, look what happens. The fireball is constantly shooting out, and it's kind of like us. If we just kept hitting spacebar like this, the fireball never goes anywhere. So it's happening so fast in this forever loop that it doesn't have time to actually fire out. Now you might think, oh, well, let's just put a wait right here, and let's see what happens. And we can do that. So now the enemy fires every 1 second, but because of this wait 1 second, we hardly even see the enemy move at all, which might be cool. That might be a strategy or a way you could do this. But we want the enemy to be moving at the same time and firing at us at intervals to make it more interesting. And the way we do that is, instead of waiting, we want to broadcast fire maybe every 5 seconds or so. But we can do that concurrently at the same time by running another green flag clicked event and placing it in a forever loop. We place it in that forever loop, and now when we hit green flag, the enemy both moves at us, and every 5 seconds, it shoots a fireball at us, which is a little more interactive and dangerous and harder to play, and it's kind of cool that way. All right, so a concurrent event. And you can change the interval if you want it every 1 second to be a little more difficult. And this thing is just firing at you constantly. Maybe this is a way to scale up the difficulty of an enemy. But right now, let's just do 5 seconds. Now, why should I worry about getting hit with an enemy fireball? Because nothing happens when it hits me. In order for that, we're going to need to establish some kind of energy or life system for both the player and the enemy. First of all, we don't need enemy direction and meter visible anymore, so I can uncheck that here at this box. And now let's make a couple variables. Player 1 energy, and we'll make enemy 1 energy. And on the player 1 sprite, this is a variable we'll declare at the beginning. So maybe we'll set this to 10, and we'll do it at the beginning of the game, not inside the forever loop, because we don't want our energy to constantly go back up to 10. We just want to start there in the beginning. Similarly, for the enemy, we're going to set enemy energy, and that could be in either one of these green flag clicks. It doesn't matter, but don't put it in both of them. So I'll just do it in this one here. Now we have energy, and when I hit green flag, let's set it to 10. Okay. And, I put player 1 direction, not energy. Oops. I knew there was a reason why these were 0. It's easy to make mistakes. Now when I hit run, both of our energies are set to 10. Now this is a variable you might want to display. And again, you can always move where these are displayed on the screen. That's up to you. Now we need some conditionals. So basically for player 1, if I am touching the enemy fireball, which is fireball 2, I should lose some energy. So we need a conditional. If touching is sensing, touching, sprite is the enemy fireball, the second one, fireball 2, and then not set, but change player 1 energy by, and then think of a number. Maybe it's -1. we can place that conditional inside the forever loop to make it always true. Now, we can test it as well. Hit play. Let's see here. Is it going to work? Every 5 seconds I'm getting hit. Doesn't look like it's working. If touching fireball 2. Change player 1 energy by 1. But it's not working. For some reason, perhaps for some reason, we're not actually touching that fireball. That may have to do with the shape of the sprite. If we go to fireball 2, look at the costume, and we edit the costume or change it, it might have to do with the very point of the tip of the sprite not hitting our actual center of gravity. Let's change something real quick. We'll make the enemy fireball a small circle, and we'll color it with orange. Let's see here. Can I get that to work? That didn't work. Can I pause this recording? I'm just gonna have to edit this out. What we want to do is get a color. Why can I not grab a color? This is funny. This is really strange. Just got a color, finally. Oh my gosh. That was really odd. Hopefully that doesn't happen to you. All right, so I'm going to make that into a circular shape. Now let's try and see if that thing actually hits us. Oh, look, it does. It took away energy. Oh, it's taking away energy. It's working. So it's hitting us. And I'm almost dead. So it's working now. It looks like we had to change the shape of the fireball. I'm going to go ahead and save. And I'm going to change the shape of my fireball as well. Hopefully we have a little less trouble. We'll make ours this kind of blue color. Looks like it's going to be funny again, so bear with me. It doesn't want to give me a color again. There's black. Can we change it? Is it just going really slow? Not quite sure why. There we go. No. It only allows me to do certain colors. So I'm going to do this green color. Hopefully it's not happening on your end where you're at, but we're going to shoot out these green things. There we go. So, sorry about that. Now if we run it, you can see my energy goes down. And it's taking away a lot more energy than just 1, which is odd, but we'll get to that in a second. First, I also want to establish similarly a conditional so that when we fire at the enemy, we take its energy away. So again, same thing. If, this is again the enemy sprite, touching is sensing. If touching fireball, which is our fireball, change enemy 1 energy by -1. That can go in the forever loop here. Let's run it. And now let's try and, yep, it's working. Oop, didn't get me. And, ooh, still got me. It's working, cool. So now we're taking energy away when we hit the enemy with our little fireball, and the enemy can take our energy away when it hits us with its fireball. So we've used 2 conditionals. We changed the look of both fireballs, and we added those conditionals in. So try and get that done, and we'll work on the next part next time we meet.